Hello, Suzanne and colleagues. I'm Joe Ty from Values Coach, and I want to thank you for adopting the book, The Heart of a Nurse Leader, for your book club. You know, when Bob Dent, my good friend and colleague and co-author, and I started working on that book, we decided to build it around the outline of our course on personal values called the 12 Core Action Values. And the question I started with when I started working on that course almost 20 years ago is, what are the values that no matter what one's religious belief or non-belief, politics or non-politics, ethnic background, what are the values that are universal? And from authenticity through to leadership, these really are your values. And one of the things that many of us have not done, we have not really taken the time to think about what our values are, much less how those values are reflected in our checkbook registers, in our calendars, in how we make decisions, and how we build relationships. And I hope that reading this book will challenge you to think about those things. And here are some questions for you to think about in your book club. First question, how could each of us individually, if we did a better job of living those values, how could it help us be better people? How could it help us be better in our professional careers, better in our personal lives, do a better job of managing our goals and objectives? How could it help us be better as parents and help us teach our kids how to live these values more effectively? Pretty good question, huh? Here's the second question. How could living those values, if all of us here at the hospital were to make a commitment to those values, how could it help us do a better job of reinforcing the core values of the organization? Let's take a look at this a little more deeply. The value of respect for human dignity. If all of us made a commitment to core action value number 1, authenticity, to practice self-awareness, self-mastery, managing our ego and emotions, self-belief, not pretending to be less than we really are, self-truth. How could that help us do a better job of respecting the dignity of other people? Compassionate caring. You know, if we would all embrace core action value number 10 on enthusiasm, don't you think that would come across as a more compassionate and a more caring approach to how we work with other people? Or if we adopted service, core action value number 11, stewardship. You know, if we were really clear about core action value number 9, focus, wouldn't we do a better job of managing our resources and not wasting resources, including the time we bring to our work? Quality. You know, one of the things that we have found in the hospitals that we've worked with is that when people really take to heart core action value number 3, awareness, quality improves. Why? Well, they pay more attention when they're changing an IV. They pay more attention if they're walking by a stained ceiling tile and they recognize, well, that could be a leak. It could cause a safety hazard. And finally, justice. And of course, if all of us got more clear about what it means to be a person of integrity, wouldn't we do a better job of practicing justice in our organization and in our culture? So those are some of the questions that I hope you'll think about. And I hope that you will send me an email or give me a call and let me know how it's going. And I want to point out this. On the cover of the book and on the button, there are really 3 symbols. One is the scrub shirt. And that, of course, is the symbol of our professionalism as caregivers. Second is the stethoscope. And, of course, there's a technical skill involved in being an effective caregiver. And third is the heart. And that's really, you know, if you lead from the heart, people will follow. All 3 of those things are essential. The professional credibility of the uniform, the technical competence that comes with the stethoscope, and often the hardest to find and the most important is the heart that we have to bring to our work, even when we're under pressure, even when we're feeling overwhelmed. If we could practice these values, maybe we'd hear words like compassion fatigue and burnout a whole lot less, and we'd hear things like compassionate caring and respect and dignity a whole lot more. That's my hope and my expectation for you. Thank you very much.